I can't work Hendry out. I like to sort of think, you build up a good idea, you form your own opinion of a player when you watch them week in, week out. And he looks busy. Like he wants to get the ball and accept that. And he doesn't go hiding for me. But if Walker's there patrolling the game and he's sort of sitting in front of the back four and he's pinging passes around and he's sort of trying to dictate the tempo and Hendry's sort of buzzing around, well, what are they contributing defensively and offensively from midfield? It's been midfield has been it is a massive issue for this football club, and it has been for a while. We had Jay Spearing in that midfield, absolutely dictated games. Swept everything up, read everything. And Walker's a good player and he's important for us, but he can't play Tuesday, Saturday. We can't be in a position next season. And I know you've brought the stats up quite a few times, games with and without Walker and the difference in the variation in wins. And it's quite startling. Hendry doesn't affect the game enough. We've got no drive from midfield at all. No goals, no assists. And it's a huge concern because that needs to be addressed in the summer majorly, midfield. I mean, we probably need 2 central midfielders at least. One of them, someone who can really take the game by the scruff of the neck. Because it's the engine room of the team. And I do think standards have been lowered. We talk about Saunders, another player who works hard but isn't good enough. Charlie Jolly, he's not good enough. For this level, he's not good enough. Now, you said if the club, don't want, but sort of are fine with where we are now in terms of meandering along. Well, I think the gate on Saturday was around 5,500, maybe just less. That's going to become the norm then, because we are in a cost of living crisis. As has been mentioned several times, we have very expensive season tickets relative to the level. And fans aren't going to just continue to put the money up and come in hope they'll find something better to do on a Saturday. We need this club, this football club needs an injection of something. It needs not even necessarily, some sugar daddy, and obviously that's the dream, and someone pumping money in without any return, fine. It needs new ideas at the top, just some new life. We were talking before we came on, Matt, and I know it's not an important subject. Some of these aren't sort of important subjects for football, and is first and foremost the most important thing, and I accept that, because if we're winning all the time, it cures all ills. But I tried to get a ticket for Wrexham recently. The website's disgraceful. Disgraceful. The website, we don't have hundreds of thousands of demand. It's, you're going to and fro and it goes down, it comes back up. It's shocking. People are trying to take their kids to go to a game and you're having to solve puzzles to get numbers. And we're a League Two football club. We are a League Two football club. We're trying to actively get youngsters involved and they're making it as hard as possible to support the club. Why? It's cutting your nose off to spite your face. I haven't heard anything from the speakers in about 10 years. It's just little things like that. It all adds up. And now I know people say, it doesn't matter. But the little things to people do. People complain about the food and the refreshment and all that sort of stuff. And that's I'm not particularly bothered by that. But it does bother some sections of the fan base who are all paying customers. And to me, all those little things, they're symptomatic of the overall malaise the club finds itself in my opinion. Since we got demoted, we had, probably a really good summer when, we got Vaughan and Keith Hill, and we all know what happened. But it's been year-on-year regression since then, and it's concerning. Despite what the owner says, despite his claims of how prepared we were last year, in despite of everything he said, we are going backwards as a football club, on and off the pitch. We're getting left behind by clubs of similar resources, if not less. I totally agree with you, what you've mentioned in the past. I think a great starting point would having some sort of youth set up, because that connection then forms again with the fans if you have young players coming through. I grew up watching Tranmere on, Kumas and Hume and then Taylor and, Aaron Cresswell and, whoever else coming through and Max Power. And you really got, it was great. That's what I want as a, that's what I want as a fan. You have that connection. And I see clubs now and I've seen some chairman recently saying the only way lower league clubs are going to survive long term is having some sort of youth setup, and I totally accept that. All the governing bodies make it as difficult as possible for for smaller clubs to have a youth setup because their players get pinched. I know Louis Koumas has been used recently as an example, but is there no way at all we can just get something started up? Is there? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the finances involved, and I could be shooting into the grass or whatever, into the air, whatever. But that to me seems like an easy win. I just feel like we're losing our way a bit, and it's getting a bit worrying. Who knows? We could have a fantastic summer. League Two can change like the click of a fingers, and it could be a weaker league next year and winning games, and all of a sudden all this gets forgotten about. But I think you talked about standards there, Matt. I think we've got to be very, very careful as a football club because, another year of regression and we're in relegation. We're 19th now. So, yeah, it's a huge summer. We seem to say that every summer. But I do think standards have been completely eroded at the moment. And we need an injection of life and vibrancy around the place, in my opinion.